Because apparently here in Israel, most are actually dissatisfied.
Yeah, according to a new survey, it's largely because of how much time they spend in traffic. In fact, Israelis spend an average of 25 hours in traffic every month. And joining us to break this down is consumer behavior expert Dr. Vili Abraham. All right, so first of all, let's talk about some of the major differences in Israeli working places compared to abroad.
Okay, so if we talk about how much time we spend working every week, it's about 40 to 42 hours a week. It depends on the report. And we rank seventh. We rank seventh in the world as far as working hours are concerned. The United States is about 37, which is more or less the global average, which is 38 hours. People in Colombia work 47 hours a week, and in the U.S. it's 38. So
what was that, 42 hours a week? That's the average that Israelis are spending at work?
40 to 42.
So why are we spending so many hours at work? How is this, how? What is happening?
Well, it's because the average work day is about 8.6 hours. It should be 8, but sometimes when you work somewhere, they add about half an hour, for a break. So it's really 8 hours, and you just get some more time for the break. So
and then the whole traffic issue, I mean, adds to that,
I mean,
right?
when we're talking about an average, so that basically means, you got the people living in the city who maybe, or in whatever city they work in, who maybe don't have to travel so much. But that means that the people who are traveling are actually realistically on the road much longer than an hour.
Yes, definitely. If we look according to this report, we spend somewhere between 30 minutes and 2.5 hours every day in traffic.
Wow.
Even though this is a tiny little baby country, and it takes about an hour supposedly to get everywhere, right?
Exactly, and I can tell that every week or even every month I can really sense that I'm spending more and more time in my car traveling, commuting to work. That's why I started taking the train, which makes me a lot more productive. I have added 6 hours of productive work a week.
So this is why there's so many Israelis basically reporting dissatisfaction, I mean, with their work balance and to social life, right? Because they feel like they're wasting a lot of time, essentially?
Yes, a lot of time. We spend about 36 days a year in traffic. In addition to that, there are a lot of people who take work to home. So it means that you spend time working, on average, about an hour. Whether it's WhatsApping or email, your supervisors or your superiors. So we're wasting
they're taking work home with them.
Exactly. So this means that it has an effect on your familial life.
Yeah, of course. Well, it's just interesting to me, though, because having been here 4.5 years, I mean, one of the things that I love the most about living in this country is the fact that people typically after work will go out and they'll meet their friends and they'll go and they'll grab a beer. Whereas in the United States, I feel like it's kind of more work to home. Like that's what you do during the week. And then in the weekend, you'll get together with friends. But I guess that isn't playing a factor in this whatsoever. Because I think the work-to-life balance is actually pretty good here. So I'm surprised by this.
Yes, so I think that the big thing that tilts the balance in this favor of this satisfaction with work and private life balance is the fact that we're spending a lot of time in traffic, and that's why a lot of countries and a lot of cities have started charging taxes. They're called congestion taxes or pricing, so that they're trying to control the number of cars going into cities.
Isn't that basically just a toll booth?
Yeah, more or less, exactly. And by the way, London has started doing this about 2 or 3 years ago, and they've reduced traffic by 30% within the first year.
Incredible.
In city centers. And we have Singapore doing this, New York, 2021. They'll start taxing congestion, and it happens in Milan and maybe even here in Tel Aviv.
Well, if we could get the public trans up to the same standards as some of these other cities, then I'm all for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do think that it's time for people to stop driving in cars by themselves. Like, call up your friends.
Yes, it could be a lot more productive. And by the way, there's an Israeli company developing what is called air trains. They're sort of pods that they they drive up on a pole. It's like a rail in the air.
Okay.
It's a lot cheaper than a traditional rail, and it takes
Forget
just a few months.
autonomous vehicles. We have something new. All right, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Now, this is a crazy story.